Zai makes a pretty cool play here. He kills the large camp, uses Midnight Pulse at 47 to be able to kill or stack the other camp, while he also takes the Ancients. He could stack the Ancients if he wanted, but Enigma is not great at taking Ancient stacks, so this is faster and safer to be honest. He ends up farming 800 gold in 1 minute, all of that in the safety of the high ground of that region. During PA's death, which was a time they didn't want it to fight anyway. I feel like Enigma had some nerfs, at least in how greedy he could be early on, but this new jungle configuration definitely makes him able to keep growing in the mid to late game, since not only there wasn't that many camps around this area, but it feels like an overall safer spot than it was before. One thing to point out is that even though the kill score might trick you into thinking this was a complete stomp from Zai's team, in reality they are only 4k gold ahead. Hey guys, D.Bowie here, and this is how Zai jungles Enigma in 7-0-0. After the nerfs to Enigma spawns, it was not uncommon for jungle Enigmas to go Iron Talon, but since the item got nerfed, I really like his decision to go Blightstone. It is cheaper than Iron Talon, and I'm pretty sure the sum effect of using it is bigger than what Iron Talon would provide. To be honest, his first camp was probably the hardest one to deal with. Let's see how he does it. He tries to kill one of the small dudes, and when he goes, he uses his skill in the other one, which makes sense. See how he changes aggro to save the Eidolon. Unfortunately, when the skeletons are summoned, the Eidolon dies a terrible death without being able to spawn its babies. I feel like one of his intentions early on was using the kite ability of the Ancient camps to farm them with Blightstone, but as you can see, the new Ancient camp is ridiculously strong and he has to go somewhere else. Since clarities don't cancel with lane and jungle creeps, Zai can make this play with no fear of losing efficiency. He midnight pulses a near camp to draw aggro, send his babies there while he finishes the remaining golems. One cool thing we can see him doing here is that not only he doesn't cast another Eidolon right away because the camp is about to die, but he also wants to make a stack since it's close to 3 minutes. He regens with his mid, which is always a good idea, and stacks the camp with Midnight Pulse. Since we have more camps now, they don't have so much leash range as before, making Enigma better at taking stacks because he can kite creeps easier than he once was able to. He takes the stack, another medium camp, and this is just a little efficiency tip, but the blue ogres have less HP than the brown ones, so usually you want to cast conversion on the brown ones. As he goes back to the secondary jungle, we start seeing how Zai perceives the changes on the hero. Instead of going Soul Ring, he gets boots and smoke. With the changes on Eidolon's movement speed and the overall renovation of jungle, he wants to start roaming earlier than before. Usually you wouldn't leave the jungle before Black Hole unless you're aiding your team, and before he's able to get Eidolons though, a fight starts in their bottom lane and they trade Night Stalker for Enigma. Not the best trade to be honest. After respawning, he smokes with Rubik during the rune spawns, which is a great idea. You can steal the rune and maybe kill someone that was going for it. But Monkey King went for the top rune and completely dodges their smoking. At least Zai thought so. He went with his illusions to hunt Enigma, but since Monkey King doesn't have vision of this portion of the map, he gets caught when returning from his hunt. You can even see that Zai clicked on him to be sure it was the real one. I'm not sure if he saw that, but he had the face boot's movement speed buff going on. Just a little bit after, Zai casts Black Hole, but his team was too slow to follow up, and in the end, they only get Night Stalker. After such a big fight, the most efficient thing team-wise is healing in the shrines, which they do, pretty cool. With Black Hole on cooldown, Zai keeps farming the jungle going towards his mech. He got pretty unlucky with the Ancient spawns, because they had a new one in both Ancients. He does get them eventually, but very slowly as you can see. After he gets everything he needs, he farms the large camp in the secondary jungle, while he stacks the Ancients and doesn't block the dire camp. Zai commands his team to take mid. They explode Luna, and I really like his Midnight Pulse placement. Not only it was positioned to deal damage to Luna, but it zones everyone from Radiant to defending their tower. When Monkey King goes towards the trees, I also like how he goes away from the trees, since he doesn't have Midnight Pulse anymore. It takes some time, but they get the tower. I felt like Zai didn't expect his team to go fight during nighttime, so he was just farming waiting for it to end. On the bright side, Venomancer ulted and they only lost Razor, so they can go now and they take the tier 1 bottom. This is probably one of the easiest things to abuse that mid-level players just don't. After that fight, there's no way Radiant can contest them and win, since Reaper Sight, Eclipse and Venom ult got used. But they can still find pickoffs with nighttime and vision from Venom wards, so the best move is definitely pushing because Radiant won't be able to get pickoffs when they are like that. And they abuse this as much as possible. Zai has Greaves now, he still has Black Hole, and the cooldown on Eclipse and Vino ult is too big for them to fight, even though it's nighttime. So even when the cooldowns are back, Dire will still have an advantage overall because it will be daytime. After they take the tier 2 tower, we start seeing how shrines can change the game as we once knew. Everyone TPs top to defend that tower, all of them smoked, while Zai goes to the top shrine to maybe land a Black Hole while Radiant was focused on the TP stop. No luck for him though, but it's a pretty cool idea. They get a kill on Monkey King, which propels them to go for the top tower, and I really like him going for the magic resistance talent. 80% of the damage coming from Radiant right now is magic, so it really seems like the best idea. Something that divides people is going Blink after Mac or after Greaves, since in theory he can get silenced by Night Stalker and they are actually focusing on pushing a lot. He probably felt like Greaves was a better option. Radiant decides to trade tier 2s and Zai tells his team to keep going. And I really like the Midnight Pulse placement again. Instead of placing it right on top of Necro, he places it in a way to completely zone anyone from fighting during the duration of it. Because of that, they can take the tier 3s uncontested, while Luna was trying to go for the bottom lane. They end up taking barracks without ever needing to commit Black Hole, and I mean this is not new, but low and mid-level players still can't get the grasp of this. Enigma can be played as an initiator, but he doesn't need to be played like that. In fact, he's probably better as a pusher. So they take barracks at 17 minutes with Zai using only one Black Hole during the entire game, and that Black Hole didn't even achieve anything. Look at Radiant's team composition. Unless he lands one Black Hole in Monkey King, Luna and Night Stalker, all of these heroes have ways to cancel Black Hole from a reasonable distance. So does he really want to commit a 2k gold to use a 3-minute cooldown spell when he can just get more sustain and siege with his team? Now that they are retreating, Necro TP is right on top of Midnight Pulse, allowing him to get a full duration Black Hole, because Luna is still bot and Monkey King is healing. Not all that glitter is gold though. Luna was able to single-handedly take bottom racks. They do kill her, but this also showcases the weaknesses of pushing lineups, and also how Creep Core can be meaningless in the right situations. This game was feeling completely out of Radiant's grasp, right? And Luna was able to make it way closer than it should be. Don't give up early, guys. Getting Roshan before pushing would be great, but it's very hard to go Rosh against Monkey King, Night Stalker and Venomancer, so they go to the bottom lane to even out Luna's play. And I really like Zai's play here. He doesn't have Black Hole and his Eidolons are already hitting the tower, so he would be way better off going back and casting Midnight Pulse to defend. It's one of the best skills to zone people sieging your buildings. But unfortunately they only get tier 3s and trade Night Stalker for PA. Not bad, but not great. I talked a little about how Zai is not playing Enigma geared towards Black Hole, and this shows when not only he skips learning Black Hole at level 15, I thought that maybe he was waiting to get level 2 in it because it was on cooldown. Getting an extra level of a skill you can't use doesn't make sense, but he refuses to learn it and also gets the extra gold instead of cooldown reduction. With cooldowns as big as Black Hole, the general consensus is that getting Refresher is better than reducing cooldown, be it with Octarine Core or the talent tree. Well, this wraps up for today. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, it helps a lot. If you want to see the extended version of this video, please check the link in the description, and I can't overstate how this video wouldn't ever be possible without Pugna. Pugna is a platform where you can learn from people like Chessie, Fogged, Slesser, Monib, and get better at the game. They have now great content on 7.0.0, and if you want to raise your MMR, it's a great time. Just figure out the patch faster than others and get those easy wins. If you actually see the amount of damage that Tornado and EMP deal with level 2x, you will see that EMP deals more damage and steals mana. But since Silencer has boots, it's very hard to set up Cold Snap into EMP in the early levels. He doesn't have mana for a third spell, so he commits Tornado and Cold Snap to secure the kill. Another thing to pay attention to is that for most of the time Sonico was trading hits with Silencer, he had Quas turned on, but when he goes on Silencer he has everything on wax, to proc more Cold Snaps and to chase him easier.